All right, let's be honest. You've been there, right? It's late, you're at a gas station, staring into that glowing cooler, and you see rows and rows of Monster Energy drinks. And a little voice in your head asks, how many of these would it actually take to, go too far? Well, guess what? Today, we're actually going to answer that question. We're diving deep to find the lethal limit. So, how many is too many? It seems like a simple question, but the answer, well, it's a bit more complicated than you might think. I mean, these drinks are literally everywhere. They're the fuel for cram sessions, cross-country road trips, all-night gaming marathons. But where's that line? Where do you cross over from a helpful little pick-me-up to something that's genuinely risky for your health? Okay, so the source material we're looking at today, yeah, it doesn't pull any punches. It puts it pretty bluntly. 1 gives you wings, but 15 will give you a coffin. Whoa, that's pretty dark, right? But it gets right to the heart of it. We're not just talking about feeling a little shaky or getting the jitters here. We're talking about a very real and, frankly, a very dangerous hard limit. So that's our mission for this explainer. We're going to break down the science, we're going to run the numbers, and we are going to figure out exactly what that lethal limit actually is. And we'll be using the classic 16-ounce can of Monster as our unit of measurement. Let's get into it. All right, so before we can even start talking about those crazy extreme numbers, we have to talk about the star of the show, caffeine. I mean, most of us use it every single day, right? Coffee, tea, soda, but what is it actually doing inside our brains to make us feel so awake? Here's the really cool part. Caffeine doesn't actually create energy. It's not like you're pouring fuel into a tank. What it does is way cleverer. It's basically a master of disguise. It tricks your brain by blocking this chemical called adenosine. Now, adenosine is the stuff that builds up all day and tells your brain, hey, you're tired, it's time to sleep. Caffeine swoops in, blocks the message, and lets all your brain's natural stimulants just go wild. That's why you feel so alert. And that's where you get this classic double-edged sword, right? On one side, you've got the boost. You feel more alert, your focus is laser sharp, you've got that kick of energy. But push it too far, and you fall onto the other side of the sword, the burden. We're talking anxiety, those awful jitters where you can't sit still, and, we all know it, the dreaded crash that comes later. Okay, so now that we know how it works, let's get to the real heart of the question. Let's start counting the cans and see how you get from a single drink all the way to, well, chaos. It's time to do a little math. All right, number 1, let's establish our baseline. 1 standard 16-ounce can of Monster Energy. That's got 160 milligrams of caffeine in it. Simple enough. Okay, now let's add some context. The FDA recommends that a healthy adult should stick to around 400 milligrams of caffeine per day. So do the math. That's just 2.5 cans of Monster before you're already at the recommended daily max. Kind of puts it in perspective, right? But hold on. This is where things get absolutely wild. The estimated lethal dose, it's not 500, it's not 1,000, it's a massive jump all the way up to 10,000 milligrams. That's not even in the same league. It's a whole different universe. And when you see it laid out like this, it's just staggering. Look at that tiny bar for 1 can, then the safe daily limit, and then boom, that massive pillar for the lethal dose. It really shows you that it's not a gentle slope you're climbing, it's a cliff. The gap between what's normal and what's deadly is absolutely enormous.
So, okay, let's just answer the headline question. How many cans does it take? To get to that 10,000 milligram mark, you would need to down, get this, about 63 cans of Monster. 63! Now, obviously, let's be real, your body would probably give out from all the liquid long before you hit that number, but that's the sheer volume of caffeine we're talking about. It's just incredible.
So that number, 63, it's pretty shocking, right? But it's just a number. What does frying your brain, or to use the medical term, acute caffeine toxicity, what does that actually feel like? Let's talk about what's physically happening inside your body when it all goes wrong. And it is a truly terrifying process. It starts with things you might just brush off. Oh, I just had too much coffee. Your heart starts racing, you feel super restless, but it doesn't stop there. Then comes the dizziness and confusion. Your brain is getting overloaded. After that, your body really starts to rebel. Nausea, vomiting, and in the most extreme cases, it can lead to seizures and even cardiac arrest. It's a complete system meltdown. Okay, so we've been throwing around some huge, frankly scary numbers. But as we start to wrap this up, I want to be really clear about something. The most important thing to take away from all this, it is not the number 63.
Honestly, this right here is probably the most important point of this whole thing. The danger zone doesn't start at can number 62. No way. You can get into serious trouble long before you get anywhere near a fatal dose. We're talking about things like crippling anxiety, not being able to sleep for days, scary heart palpitations. That stuff starts way sooner. That danger zone is much closer than you'd think.
So what's the real takeaway here? Well, a few things. First, that 400 milligram safe limit, it's just a guideline, not a magic number that works for everyone. Your own personal limit depends on so many things: your body weight, your genetics, even just how used to caffeine you are. And remember, the bad stuff starts happening far below that lethal dose. And it's not just about one crazy binge. These health risks can slowly build up over time if you're constantly pushing it.
So, we've gone through the science, we've looked at the numbers. At the end of the day, the really important question isn't about some crazy theoretical number like 63. It's about you. It's about understanding your own body and listening to it. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought. Now that you know the science behind it all, what's your limit?